All right, guys. The name of this sermon is going to be called Your Hands, Their Voice. Your Hands, Their Voice. In this particular message, I'm simply here to let someone know that your time is coming. Your time is coming. You may have been wondering, when is it going to be my time? When is it going to be a chance for me to have an opportunity to do this or to do that? And I'm here to let you know that your time is coming. In fact, I feel like maybe for some of you, this sermon may tie in with the last sermon that I did. If any of you guys heard that one. Your hands, their voice. What do I mean by that? And I'm going to break this down so you understand whether or not this is truly a word for you at this particular moment in time. Maybe you are someone who over the years you have worked hard at something, and maybe I'm not saying you've worked hard at maybe everything that you've done. Maybe you haven't been really good at everything that you've put your hands to, but what I am saying is there are some things, or maybe just one thing, or a few things, or many, I don't know, but there's been something or some things that you've worked hard at. And it's not something that you did it for a while and then you were just like, this isn't for me, just because times got tough. Even when times got a little tough or a little rough or you didn't feel like doing it, you persevered, you pushed through, and you continue to work hard at your dream. You continue to work hard at your craft. You just continue to press through, and you worked hard and you shined bright. And a lot of times you outdid some folks, and you really just put your all into what you've worked for and what you've worked into. However, even though you've done all this, and even though you haven't given up, it seems almost as if there are times when you get constantly overlooked and someone else oftentimes gets the reward. Oftentimes someone else gets a spotlight. Oftentimes someone else gets a chance or an opportunity. And it seemed like they just walked right into it. It seemed like they either didn't work as nearly as hard as you, or maybe didn't quite work at all. They just showed up a few times, and maybe they just looked good or smiled really hard and flashed those pearly whites, or maybe they just had the right last name, or they were just in with the right people, because you know how the old saying goes, it's all about who you know. Come on. And so, even though you've been at this for a while, it seems as though you've put your hands to work at something, but it's always someone else's voice that gets to come forth. You've been behind the scenes working at something with your hands, but someone else always gets to step out and be the poster child of it, if that's how you want to look at it. They get to be the face of it. But you got to stay back here and work and do your thing, and sometimes make up for where someone else lacks, and then some. But it seems like someone just comes from right behind you and just comes up to the forefront, and you don't quite get it. You don't get mad at other folks. You don't hate them for their chances and their opportunities. You wish them well, because you figure if you continue to celebrate others and wish others well, eventually you might get celebrated, and eventually somebody might actually wish you well in return. You know, you're thinking, oh, well, I put some good out there, so maybe it's going to come back to me. Maybe if I cheer on other folks, even those who pushed me aside, or those that stepped out in front of me, eventually somebody will take notice of the fact that I've done all this and I've done all that, and I've pressed on, and I didn't complain when I was stepped over. because I know my time is coming. And you keep thinking it and you keep believing for it. Yet you find yourself months, weeks, maybe even years later with your hands out like, y'all didn't see that? But even though that's how you feel on the inside, you don't take it out on anybody. You just keep going. You just keep going. But even though you're believing for your time and your chance, there's still that part in the back of your mind, those thoughts that just keep saying, why is it that even though I'm doing this, someone else is always the one that gets to be the face of it all, the poster child, the one that represents it. They get to be the voice. But your hands are the ones going to the plow. If that's you, this word may just be for you. And now you see why it's going to be called your hands, their voices. Your hands, but their voices. Gonna be in one area of the Bible. It's gonna be Genesis chapter 27. I think I said last time how it seems like here lately I've been in Genesis quite a bit. But anyway, Genesis 27, starting here at the beginning, if you're following along, it says this. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau, his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I. And he said, behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison, and make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. What's going on here is this. We've got Jacob and Esau. They are brothers. They're twins, but even though they're twins, Esau came out of the womb first. He was born first. That makes him the oldest son. And the way that the tradition plays out is that the eldest son, he gets the blessing. He gets the inheritance of the father. He's the one that before the father passes on, the father will pray for him and speak blessings over his life. Not so much that the second son or any third or fourth sons can't be blessed. It's just that the firstborn son gets something a little more special. That's how it's supposed to play out. And we see that Isaac, who loves his son Esau very much, wants to bless him. But the mother Rebekah favors the youngest son more, whose name is Jacob. So now Esau, who is a hunter, he goes out into the field and hunts. So he's not lazy. He's one that goes out and takes it to the plow, right? Y'all, some of y'all see where I'm getting ready to go with this if y'all know the story. It's already starting to fall into place here. But he's one that he's a go-getter. He's got to go out there and hunt something down. And his father is wanting him to make something for him to eat. He's at a point where he can't see. Isaac can't see very well. He knows he's going to pass. He just doesn't know when. But he wants his son, his oldest son Esau, to go out and hunt something down for him to eat. And he wants to just enjoy just one more good, delicious meal before he blesses his son. Now let's watch what happens. Verse 6. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meats, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall see to him as a deceiver. And I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. So what's happened here is this. The mother, Rebekah, she says to Jacob, check this out. I know your father is wanting to bless your older brother, but I really want you to be the one to get this blessing. This is what I want you to do. When your brother goes out into this field to go and hunt something for your father, I want you to just go out and just go right around the corner and just go get some goats from the flock and bring them on in, and I'll take care of them. I'll make something to eat out of them. So you can be the one to present it to your father. He can't see that well. He's not going to know any better. You'll present this to him, posing as your brother, and you can get the blessing. And the son is just like, I don't know about this. My brother Esau is a hairy man. I'm sure the father's going to want to feel me. And when he sees I'm not hairy, because he knows I'm the smooth one, he's going to not only not give me the blessing, but he'll be upset with me, looking at me as a deceiver. And the mother's like, no, don't worry about it. If any curse is to come, it'll come upon me. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it all. Just obey me. So it says this. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. Now watch this. This is too sneaky. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So Jacob obeys. He goes and gets something from the flock that's already out there, and he brings it in, and his mother prepares this meat. And she's getting him ready. And what she does is, her plan is, she goes and gets some of Esau's clothes and puts them on Jacob. Some of his good stuff. Some of the stuff that it's his. It ain't nobody else's but his. And then she takes some of the skin from the goats, which of course has fur on it. She takes it and puts it on his skin and on his neck. So that way, if the father wants to feel of him, he'll feel a bunch of hair. Because he can't see well, he ain't going to know any better. But the one thing that would stand out would be the voice. That was something not really thought of. Uh-oh. So let's see. 18. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. So here he goes with the story. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that my soul may bless me. So he's jumping right to the point. I brought you the meat. Go ahead and eat of it. I'm ready for my blessing. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. So he's already going in quick, trying to get this blessing before his brother gets home and sees what the plan is. But when his father gets a little suspicious and says, well, wait a minute, how did you hunt this down that fast? How did you find it and hunt it and prepare it so fast? And what he says is, well, God brought this to me. God wasn't nowhere in that, but 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near. Now listen to this. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He says, this person standing before me, it sounds like Jacob. The voice sounds like Jacob. But when I felt the hands, it felt hairy like the hands of Esau. It's one set of hands, but a different voice. Now y'all see where I got this title from. Your hands, their voice. Your hands going to the plow, your hands going out to the field, but somebody else going right around the corner, bringing something from the flock, some everyday common stuff, and just presenting themselves as you. And it's suspicious because it ain't your voice, because your voice sounds different than most. And your hands have been busy. So some people, they couldn't help but to overlook you because you were at it. You were busy. You weren't out lollygagging. So you were getting some stuff done. But here comes somebody else trying to go for something you've been going for a while. But because they've been sneaky, and you got to understand that a lot of times it's not just someone coming up, it's somebody putting someone in your spot. Uh-oh. We got some folks playing favorites, pushing people. Well, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can get away with this. And then somebody behind them talking about, no, go ahead. If something go wrong, I'll cover for you. If something go wrong, I'll back you up. Just go ahead and do this because I want it to be you and not them because I got personal things against them. Oops, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Just go ahead. I just know you'll do better than them. Oh boy. Your hands, but it ain't your voice they hearing. Moving on. 23. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. Be careful who you say you are when you're Be careful who you say you are when you're not. Because what happens is you act like you're someone that you're not, and you get what belongs to someone else, but you don't fully understand how to operate in it. And what happens is people eventually are going to want certain things from you that you can't give, or you can give it in some kind of way, but it's not what was expected. And the reason why is because they were expecting something from a person that's not you. So now you got to come up with your reasons and your excuses. Well, I know I don't sound like that, but see, I feel like this. I don't sound like that, but I feel like this. So now for someone to accept you, they have to go by their feelings. Here we go. Come on. Ain't that what he said? This is the voice of Jacob's, but these hands feel like the hands of Esau. So he had to go by his feelings okay. That says a lot right there. I'm just being quiet for a moment to let that sit in. Maybe someone listening to this, maybe they need to hear that. Like I said, this message is for somebody or some folks, but maybe somebody else the core of this message doesn't apply to them, but maybe that part right there applies to them. Maybe somebody listening at some point, come on, their problem is they're not concerned about God, and they're not concerned about what's right. They're not concerned about what makes sense. The only concern is how they feel or how other folks feel. I think this is gonna feel good to folks right here. This will go good. Might not sound right, but it sure does feel good. So we'll go with this. They won't like how this person sounds, so let me get this person because this person make them feel good. Moving along. It says this. And he said, "Art thou my very son Esau?" And he said, "I am." 25, and he said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee." And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, "Come near now, and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment. And he blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed." So he moves in to catch a scent. And even though it's Jacob, he's smelling the scent of Esau because he's got the nerve to wear Esau's clothes. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So he speaks all these blessings over his son. And finally, verse 30, and it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. They were quick. Rebecca and Jacob, they worked quick. They got the job done. They went in and out and got it done right before Esau made it back in with what he had hunted and prepared. It wasn't that Esau was slow. He just did what the father had said. He didn't say just go right outside over to the flock and get. He said, no, he wanted him to go and hunt something down out in the fields. So he went out and put his hand to the plow and did what he was supposed to do. But some sneakiness came in and got in and out before he could return. Didn't look right, didn't sound right. Felt good though. A deceiving scent. But it sure felt good. I'm just letting you know, whoever this is for, don't give up, don't panic, don't throw in the towel. Don't get mad at God. Don't yell at him. Your time is coming. It'll be well worth it. I don't know who all needs this word. Maybe that's been your issue, is maybe just on the job. Maybe you've been at a job for years, and you've done this and you've done that. You've had different positions and worked in different areas, and you've learned all these different skills, yet nothing that you do is good enough for anyone. And it just seems like people who haven't been there as nearly as long as you, and people that don't know nearly as much as you, and people that say, oh, I only want to do this and I only want to do that, and they're not big on helping others and making up for where others lack. It seems like oftentimes those people get the promotions. Or maybe you come across people who it seems like they just come in, and because they're friends with folks that are high up, they're quick to get the raises and get the promotions. And you keep thinking, I want to make a career out of this. I know I can do something here. I've got plans and ideas, but it just seems like whenever it comes time to celebrate somebody, someone else is always brought to the forefront. And a lot of times it seems like they get the credit for things that I've been doing. For some of you, it may be that way in what seems like your friendships. You're such a good friend. You try to be there for folks. You'll keep secrets, and you'll be loyal, and you'll let people into your bosom, so to speak. But it seems like it seems like folks are quick to betray you and to turn their back on you when it benefits them. When someone that doesn't like you will come in and plot and scheme, and the one that you were such a good friend to will take their side, knowing how they are, but they'll still walk away from you to go and chill with someone more popular, or someone that has more money, or someone that's in with the in crowd in town. And so oftentimes you get left hanging. Oftentimes you're not invited here and there, even though you used to invite folks into your home and feed them and clothe them and take care of them. But in everybody else's eyes, suddenly now you're nothing and you're a nobody. And you wonder why people can't seem to see you for the real good, true friend you know you've been. You know that the word lets you know that to have friends, you should be friendly. And so you've been friendly, yet you find yourself friendless, and you keep thinking this does not add up. And it doesn't. Maybe for some of you, maybe growing up, maybe you were the sibling who you worked hard and you made the good grades and you stayed out of trouble and you weren't out all night. But then you got the other one who they did any and everything under the sun. In drugs, messing around, having sex, doing all kinds of stuff, staying out late, just doing whatever, getting in trouble at school, cussing out the teacher, can't be quiet in class. And for some reason, they continue to be the one that's favored. And it wouldn't be a big deal because it's the past, or it should be the past. But now you find that that's not even the past. You find that now, as adults, it's still the same way. Now it seems like parents or family members seem to adore that other sibling so much more, and they make you feel like nothing. They ignore you, or they find fault in you, and they nitpick at things that you do and say, why are you so different? Why do you talk like you ain't from around here? Why are you acting all proper? When really you've just done things to try to better yourself. You've never made yourself out to be better than anyone, just a better version of you. But for some reason, you never get a congrats. For some reason, the party's never thrown for you. For some reason, you don't get the I'm proud of you, but everyone else does. Maybe it's that way in your relationships. You can give all in a relationship. Give all of your heart. Give all of your love. Give all of your time. But at the end of the day, people will view you as some type of a player. People will view you as the user. You as the one who you haven't bettered yourself. Meanwhile, those that you love up and leave you out of what seems like nowhere, and then they run right into the arms or the hands of someone that everyone knows ain't no good, and then they have the nerve to stay with them. They'll complain about how they're being done wrong, but they'll stay. But somehow you were the bad guy. So somehow you keep being overlooked as the good guy that so many folks claim that they want. But when you're standing right in front of them, they would rather pass you by for somebody that everybody knows ain't no good. Mm-hmm. Maybe every time you have an idea, someone just wants your ideas and they're around for the wrong reasons, and now people use the things that you've done and you said as their idea for a book, their idea for a song, their idea for a clothing line, but yet you're just kind of there, empty-handed, nothing to show for it. I don't know who all this is for, but I'm here to let you know, simply put, your time is coming. Be patient. Don't be bitter about it and say, well, I'm not going to celebrate nobody else because don't nobody celebrate me, or I'm going to give up. No. Your time is coming, and what's in store for you will be worth the wait. What if what lies ahead of you is greater than what you already have planned for yourself? Some of y'all are seeing how this actually ties a little bit into the last message that I did called 50 Feet, where I was talking about how your gifts will make room for you. Maybe for some of you that there's a connection. I don't know. I just want to share something that I found kind of interesting. Recently, probably about, I guess maybe about a week or two ago, somebody that I know, I was somewhere and somebody that I know stopped me, and we were talking, and she said, and she named somebody who is a relative of hers. And this relative of hers works at a place I used to work at, and I worked there for years, right? So she's like, well, my relative was saying that they wanted to make you an assistant manager there. Now, when I heard that, like I for real had to stop in my tracks. And the first thing that I could think of, the only thing I could really think to say was, really? I didn't know that. I would have no idea of that, because the way that some of the other managers treated me, I'd have no idea or no reason to believe that they would want to give me such a promotion, and no one ever said anything. It's not like I just up and quit like some people do. I actually put in a very respectful 2 weeks notice and worked more than just the 2 weeks. I worked about 3, because there's 3 weeks on the schedule that you see on the computer. So I worked all those weeks, and those were weeks that if anybody had wanted to give me a promotion, could have came up to me and said, hey, before you leave, you should consider staying, because some of us, we've been watching you and we would like to promote you. Just a thought. Anybody could have came up and said that, but that was never said. And like I said, by the way, how some of them treated me, they made it quite apparent to me that I was very beneath them. There was a time when I worked very hard, did what I was supposed to do, and sometimes what other folks were supposed to be doing. There were times when I had to pick up the slack of those who they were just in with other folks in management, and they got to sit in the office and hang out and sit on Facebook and watch videos on YouTube with their feet propped up on the desk. And I was doing my stuff and theirs. There were times, I'll tell you, times where I would go out there and do stuff, And then at the end of the night, I would be presented with literally a stack of things to deal with, literally, not over exaggerating. And it was stuff that was supposed to have been done the night before, but instead of having everybody work on it throughout the night, it's given to me during the last hour or two to try to figure it all out by myself, while just because you think someone can do a whole bunch more than what they're supposed to do doesn't mean that they should. It doesn't mean that they should have to. And not to mention, not long before I left, there was one manager that was very much so, not putting anybody down, not naming any names, but there was one who was very much so someone that kind of acted like a high school bully. And anytime he came across me and nobody was around to hear it, or people were too far away to hear what he had to say, he had some very unpleasant things to say, always had something smart to say. And there was another particular manager who, he was really cool until he was around the manager that was like a high school bully, even though he was way on up in age to be a high school bully. And when that manager got around the bully manager, he acted just like one too, like he was trying to impress that manager. Similar to what people do in high school. And these two, when they would get together, always would let me know about how I need to leave, and how, oh, well, when you gonna put in your 2 weeks notice, when you gonna leave, when you gonna quit. And so eventually I decided that I deserved a little bit better. Not that I was expecting special treatment, but that I simply wouldn't mind being treated like just, a human being. When I decided to leave, you'd think they'd be happy to get what they want, but now all of a sudden the story is, well, now the story is different. Now the story is no one understands why I left, and now the story is, well, we wanted to promote her. We don't understand why she's gone. And now, not dogging everybody out or anything, not dogging anybody out, but there were those who were pretty cool bosses, pretty cool managers. But of course, when push came to shove, they weren't going to stand up for me, because at the end of the day, even though they knew I was being done wrong by other managers, they, at the end of the day, were all going to be in it together, because no one wants to put the possibility of their job being on the line if they stand out and stand up for what's right. So at the end of the day, those who know I'm going to be done wrong are going to be quiet and just sit back and smile about it. And sometimes literally that too. Like when managers saying something they shouldn't, and then the ones that are nice to me, they just kind of sit there and smile, just like, yeah, I see what's going on, but I can't say nothing, so I'm just going to sit here and smile. Sorry, Kobe. Literally. That's I'm not over exaggerating. This is literal. It was weird. It was bizarre. It was a Twilight Zone. But anyway. But at the end of the day, it seemed like me against the world, really. And so one of the best feelings in the world was leaving there. One of the best feelings I've had, not the number one feeling, the very best feeling I ever felt was when I was baptized in the Holy Ghost of fire. I still remember the year. It was November 2012. I remember that like that was yesterday. But anyway, I don't know what's going to ever top that one, unless God's got something else for me. Only God is going to outdo that one, because he was the one behind that one. But other than that, that right there, leaving the place, was one of the best feelings ever. I felt like I accomplished something, not by moving up in that workplace, but by moving out. And even to this day, I'm still nice to people when I go to that place to shop. I still say hi. I still wave. I'm not rude. I don't say negative things. I'm still nice. But years after leaving, to hear someone say, hey, my relative who has over time made it up in this workplace is now saying that he's been told by those that were already high up when you were working there that they wanted to make you a manager. I never would believe that they wanted me to be one of them by the way they treated me. What I'm saying is people view how you treat them. People pay attention to how they are treated, and how you treat someone says a lot to a person. And so, even though that played out, and even though I've moved on, to hear something like that comes across as suspicious. There's the parts of me that thinks, well, why would they say that? Because it seems like they're covering their tracks. It seems almost like it's an easy way to put their hands up and try to play innocent. Like doing something and then washing your hands and then putting your hands up and say, see, look, I got clean hands. I haven't done anything. You know? And if they see me shop there, anyone could stop me and say, hey, you should come back. We'd love to have you, but no one says anything like that. So to say that when I'm not around after I've already left, it just sounds like guilt, and it sounds like covering the tracks when there's no reason to. It's the past. I've moved on. Now, if at some point I feel like the Lord wants me to go back there and work, so be it. But honestly, right now, I really like where I'm working. Getting to work at the hospital that I work at is really nice, and I get to make an impact. I feel like I get to make a difference there. I wanted to make a difference at that place I used to work at, but where I'm at now, I haven't even been there that long, and without any promotions, I'm already feeling like I'm making a difference. Some patients, you may go into their room and maybe they're sleeping, or maybe they're not feeling good and they don't want to talk, and that's fine. But every now and then I go to a patient who maybe they're feeling down, and I can say something good. I can say, hello, how are you? Are you having a good day? God bless you. Don't worry, you'll feel better. I'll be praying for you. I pray that you get to feel better. And you should see how they light up. You should see how they smile ear from ear, and how they'll say, I'm so glad that you said that. What you said brightened my day. What you said made me feel so much better. Even someone told me that works with the patients often was telling me, she said, you know, that some of these patients, they wait for you. They're ready to see you. They're wondering when I'm going to come by their room to serve them something to eat. They're waiting for me. All because I wanted them to feel better. All because I wanted to share something about God with them. All because I said a God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I believe for you to get better. I hope the food is good. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. Do you need anything else? I can go and get that for you if you want it. You want seconds? I can go get it if you need it. Going out of my way to go a little above and beyond to make a difference in someone else's life. And that was what I wanted to do anyway, was to make an impact. So if God so chooses to move me somewhere else, so be it. If promotion is there, so be it. If promotion is somewhere else, so be it. If I don't get promoted at all, so be it. But my goal was to make a difference in somebody's life. I'll even go as far as to say this. Cow Power Ministries, this ministry thing I've been doing, making these videos, making these sermons, I've been doing this since 2013. It's 2018 right now. I've been at it for some years. I've been at it for a while. And I just say that to say, a lot of people, wonder about things, and people question whether or not I'd ever actually be in a church preaching. And I'll simply say this: if one day the Lord wants me to have my own church and preach before my own congregation, to be a pastor, if that's what he chooses to call me to do, so be it. It will be a great honor. However, to be honest, even though at one time I thought that might be kind of cool, honestly, really what I personally would really like to do, what I would like to do is not be just stuck in one spot. Instead of just being just a pastor over one church in one spot, what I would actually really want to go do is I would really like to be able to go to different churches. Yes, have my home church that I go and worship at and hear a good word from, but I'd like to be able to be, I guess you could say, like an evangelist slash prophet that can go to different places, to different churches, even other towns, or possibly even other states, or even in other countries, and just go to other places and preach to different people and see a variety of people get saved, and preach a good word to a variety of different people, and give a fresh word from God to a variety of people. Give people confirmation about what God has already revealed to them, and go and lay hands on people and see them be healed. These are the types of things I would rather go about. I would rather see fresh faces, people of different colors, people of different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, social economic backgrounds, because I really would like to impact many, not just some in one spot. Now, that's my passion. That's my desire. I would love to go and meet new people, meet different pastors, and meet different prophets and evangelists and apostles and teachers. I would love to go and do that. And I would really like to have a wife that's even-minded as I am, someone that's also very kingdom-minded, somebody that would love to be by my side, and we both go and do things for God. That's my dream. But even if none of that ever comes to pass, whether it be what I want or whether it be what other people would like to see for me, regardless of all that, my goal, my main goal, has to be to serve God and seek his will. So if what he wants ain't what I want, at the end of the day, it's about what he wants. Here's what I'm getting at. Somebody might need to hear this. Maybe you know it, but maybe you need a refresher. I'll share it. There's a difference between being a leader and being someone in a leadership position. Let me say this again. There's a difference between being a leader and being someone in a leadership position. And what I mean is, you can be in a leadership position but not actually be a leader. See, there's a saying that you hear a lot in ministry, and it goes a little something like this: to lead, you first have to serve. You got to want to be a servant first before you can lead. And that's true, but listen, there's even more to it than that. And it's this: not only do you serve before you lead, but even if you step into a role of leadership, you still are serving. You're just serving on a higher level, but yet you're still serving. So listen, it's not just about getting the servant experience. You got to serve before you lead, because even when you step into a role of true leadership, you are still actually serving others. In other words, it doesn't stop. Serving doesn't stop because you now have a title. Come on. And so the problem listen, this isn't just in the church world. We hear this a lot in the church. You got to serve before you leave. But what I'm saying applies to just any area of your life, in workplaces, in businesses, in any areas of your life. It's important to understand that when you are in a position to be a leader, you also must be willing to serve to actually be a leader. Because there are folks in leadership positions who are not leaders, and a big part of the reason why they are not true leaders is because they don't want to serve anymore because of the fact that they are now in a leadership position. You see what I'm saying? So for example, you've got people who they go after leadership positions for personal reasons, but not because they're actual leaders. They just want the position. Some people go for a leadership position because they want a title, because they feel like titles are what make them. And if they ain't got a title, they ain't nobody. That's how they feel. Some people, the reason why they want the leadership position is because they're lazy. So they think if they do enough to get the position, they can now just sit down all the time and watch everybody else do all the work. So they're in a leadership position, but they're not a leader because they don't want to do nothing no more. They ain't going to serve and help nobody. You've got some people who they're in a leadership position. They get in there. And the problem is, maybe back in the day, back when they were a kid, back when they were in school, they were bullied. And so now the reason why they act the way they do in their position is because they look at it as an opportunity to now be the bully. Well, I was done wrong. I was made fun of because I was short. I was made fun of because I was ugly. I was made fun of because I was fat. But now that I'm in this position of being a leader, now I'm going to bully folks. Now I'm going to have something smart to say. Because I feel like now I'm in a position where I can do it to people and not only get away with it, but some folks will put up with it because they're desperate for their job or they're desperate for a promotion. And they feel like if I just let this person do me any kind of way, I might have a chance to move up at the ladder. So I'm going to bully people the way I was bullied, so that way people can kiss my behind and I can see what it feels like to be the big guy on campus, so to speak. So they're not a leader. They're just, someone who has insecurities, but they're in a leadership position. Do you see what I'm saying? Some people back in the day, they weren't popular. They weren't cool. They were made fun of. So then they get in the leadership position. And now they make the workplace a place of popularity. It's a popularity contest. And so they get in this position and they say to themselves, well, I know people will be friends with me and they'll want to hang out with me and be cool with me because they know if they're cool with me, I'll take it easy on them in the workplace, or I'll give them promotion, or I'll give them a chance or opportunity for this or that. So because of what played out in the past, now in their present, they're going to use it to do people how folks did them back in the day. Even though these new people weren't there. They ain't got nothing to do with what happened to them, but they don't care. They just look at it as their opportunity to get back at some people that don't even work for them. But that's how it is. So they're not leaders. They're just in a leadership position. But when a true leader walks in and they get in the position, they will still serve. They'll tell people what their job is, but they'll go out there and do some stuff with them. Come on. They ain't going to just sit there and watch them and laugh and point and have something smart to say when ain't nobody else around. They got something good to say. They'll come in and help. They'll say, do you need something? Can I help you, or can I get somebody else to come help you? What can I do? They're not coming up, well, how much longer is this going to take? They're saying, hey, listen, if it's going to take a while, let me know. Let me get some backup. Or do the best that you can. They don't make it high school all over again, because ain't nobody got time for that, and they're over it. Boy. You got to still serve when you become a leader. Not just so you know how the servants feel, those serving you feel, and what they're going through, but because you still need to serve. That's where true respect comes in. There's levels of respect, but true respect. See, you got managers that'll yell at you and threaten your job, but the ones who get the true respect are the ones that'll go out there and still put their hands to the plow, at least to some extent. The managers that treat you with respect. Not because you kissed their butt, not because you gave them a bunch of compliments, not because you flirted with them, not because you gave them a one-night stand. They'll show you respect because you're a human, and that's how they should respect you. And they don't need someone to tell them, hey, that's a human being. It's quite obvious to them. That's what it means. Not talking to folks just any kind of way because you think, well, they'll let me talk to them any kind of way if they want their job. This is a business. I'm just going, if they don't like how I talk to them, I can fire them and get the next one in, and we'll just keep this show rolling. That's someone in a leadership position that's not necessarily a leader. There's a difference. So for whoever this word is for, understand, please do understand that, as I said, your time is coming, but understand also that the process you've gone through has been preparing you for stepping into roles of leadership and success. But it's not just about a title. It's not just about a position. You've got to still be willing to go all at it, go all out, and still treat people right regardless of how someone else treated you. You don't have to stoop to their level. You don't have to take the low road because they did. Take the high one, even when it hurts. Even if they want to hit you below the belt, you still got to be up high. Usually, if I'm at a church long enough, I try to do what I can to serve. If they don't have a drummer, I'll say, hey, I can play the drums if you want me to play. If they need someone to clean up the church, I'll say, hey, I'll come and I'll clean up. If they want someone to go and take up the tithe offering, if they want someone to be the one to pray at the end of a message or whatever. Hey, we're low on funds. Go. Would anybody like to volunteer to help pay for this or help pay for that? I usually do what I can to do it. I do what I can to help. I don't mind. I don't mind finding ways to serve. And some people, it trips them out how eager I am to serve. But I understand. That as Christians, serving is important, both inside and outside the church. It's key. I'll wrap this up by saying this. Jesus, our Lord and Savior, could have came to earth at the age of 30 and just went around and performed miracles. And they could have came and just crucified him, and it could have been done. Could have been done. Wouldn't even have taken a whole year. But instead, he came to us in the form of a baby in a manger. And he spent years growing up and living amongst his people, and then preaching and ministering, and then years later going on to go about and perform miracles and gather up the disciples and do this and do that before going on the cross to die for us. He went through a process that really he really didn't have to go through. Really. And maybe that's just my opinion. He could have just came and revealed himself and did miracles and let them crucify him and be gone. But instead, he went through a process. He lived for years and years before he walked into his calling and destiny. Now, if Jesus If God in the flesh went through a time, went through seasons of going through some things, if he went through a process, what makes us think that we won't have to go through our processes? If he was patient, we must be patient as well. Keep that in mind. Heavenly Father, I thank you for another time to minister another message. I pray that those who need this word would tune in, that they would hear it, that they would receive it. Lord, I pray that people would get it deep down into their hearts and understand that regardless of what they're going through, they must pursue the dream. They must keep going. They must not give up, because their time is coming, and the things that they've learned being a servant is going to help them be better leaders. Because once they become leaders, once they're put into, really, they're already leaders. They're already leaders while they're serving, but when they're put into the actual leadership position, they will be able to be outstanding leaders, because they're not just in a position, they don't just have a title, they haven't just made a name for themselves, but they are actual true leaders that actually care about your people and about your will. Lord, I give you all the praise, the glory, and honor. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.